Hey guys, today I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Budo Taijutsu. The author, Duncan Mitchell, has a chapter on Goshinjutsu, which is self-defense. In this chapter he talks more about history and mindset to put his art, Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, sort of in context of what we would be using today, what we can take from that and can use today under these circumstances. I frankly felt it was one of the strongest portions of the book, so I'm going to share it with you guys right now. For the samurai of feudal Japan, the study of Bujutsu, martial technique, was founded on his occupation: to engage with an opponent and defeat them in combat, either on the field of battle or defending order within his lord's domain. A samurai could walk onto the battlefield wielding his spear. Once his spear was broken, he would draw his sword. Once he lost his sword, he would draw his dagger. And then once he had lost that, he would grapple with his opponents unarmed. Bujutsu of that time was not a series of specialized skills, but a complete system of combat. In modern times, we think of the application of Bujutsu in terms of Goshinjutsu, self-defense. Budo Taijutsu provides a practical form of self-defense that does not rely on the physical size or strength of the practitioner. As it was for the samurai and ninja of feudal Japan, in modern self-defense there can be no certainty when or where an attack may take place, how many adversaries may be involved, and how they may be armed. In a self-defense situation, there are no weight divisions. We should always assume that our attacker will be physically larger and stronger than us, which entails that we can rule out techniques or tactics that rely primarily on strength. In a self-defense situation, there is no gender divide. Any technique we practice should work equally well for a woman against a man. In a self-defense situation, there is no ring or contest area. Techniques and tactics that require a large amount of floor space or only work on flat surfaces need to be modified so that as they can be employed in a crowded, cluttered environment or on uneven surfaces. In a self-defense situation, there are no rules. An attacker may launch a surprise attack from behind, use any sort of dirty trick, and may conceal a weapon. Therefore, techniques that rely on particular types of attacks or only work under a set of contest rules can also be ruled out. Our self-defense system is based on the knowledge of Go Shidori, strongman control, which is the study of how to fight against much stronger, larger opponents. Never fight your opponent on an equal footing. Always try to take any advantage you can and do whatever it takes to survive. Maintain your balance and keep the opponent off balance. Keep your eyes on your opponent at all times. Concentrate your attacks on the weakest points of his body, such as his fingers, eyes, groin, ribs, shins, and use hapaken against his ears. Use any object at hand as an improvised weapon. Use ki by shouting from deep in your lower abdomen, not from high in the chest. A strong ki gives you confidence and can cause the opponent to falter. Attack continuously. Keep attacking until the opponent is completely incapacitated or immobilized. Use your surroundings to restrict the mobility of the attacker. Crowd him in a corner or knock objects down to block his path. Use your surroundings to facilitate your escape. Give yourself a clear exit. Always try to end the fight as quickly as possible. Maintain a calm and confident attitude. Fight back from a place of strength, not anger or fear. Attacking a weak point, such as the eyes, without first controlling your opponent's mental and physical balance, may just lead to an even stronger and more vicious attack from him. Self-defense is more than just learning a few tricks. You first need to train in distance and balance control to make the technique effective. The mindset in combat for a samurai can be expressed with, "You cut my flesh, I cut your bones. You cut my bones, I cut off your life." The feeling of accepting that you will receive damage, but will attack strongly and confidently to overwhelm your attacker. For example, when facing an attacker armed with a knife, and there is no chance of escape, you attack strongly with the view of defeating him completely, regardless of whether or not you are cut or stabbed in the process. Self-defense and survival are often more about mindset, confidence, and mentally unbalancing your opponent than it is about technique. Now, while there are certain points on there that I would say need some modification or aren't necessary, like the whole thing about ki, I don't think you need that. But I think in general, a lot of the concepts that were addressed there were very good. The idea that you should attack from a place of determination, of mental strength. In a self-defense situation, the worst thing you can do is throw a half-hearted strike. The worst thing you can do is grab without any confidence about what you're going to do once you've achieved that connection. I also think some of the ideas there involving tactics, like trying to limit your opponent's mobility, those are good ideas. Some of what was expressed, again, seems to me like it might be very circumstantial. Back your opponent into a corner. Why? Why am I going toward, after I'm used to the idea of stun and run sort of defense being the number one goal. So pursuing someone so that they get trapped doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me in most circumstances, But outside of those nitpicks, like I said, I think a lot of the general concepts that were addressed were good, in the final thought there about, it is more about what's going on up here than choosing a particular technique. There are techniques that will work better for most people, but it is really about having the commitment. I don't even think maybe confidence is the right word, but yeah, just committing. We are going to do this. I'm going to make this attack as deliberately and thoroughly as possible. As we know, under most jurisdictions, basically you stop your attack when the opponent is no longer a clear and present danger. That wasn't so much covered in that. But again, I think the majority of the principles and ideas presented there could be useful for self-defense. So let me know what you guys think about it, and if you like my content, please feel free to like and share and subscribe. And thank you for following me, and I'll see you later.